December 21st, 2022. Daily Bread. Passage, Isaiah chapter 7, verse 1 to verse 25. Key verse 14. Title, The Lord Himself Will Give You a Sign. When Ahaz, son of Jotham, the son of Uzziah, was king of Judah, King Rezin of Aram and Pekah, son of Remaliah, king of Israel, marched up to fight against Jerusalem, but they could not overpower it. Now the house of David was told, Aram has allied itself with Ephraim. So the hearts of Ahaz and his people were shaken, as the trees of the forest are shaken by the wind. Then the Lord said to Isaiah, Go out, you and your son Shear-Jashub, to meet Ahaz at the end of the aqueduct of the upper pool, on the road to the launderer's field. Say to him, Be careful, keep calm, and don't be afraid. Do not lose heart because of these two smoldering stubs of firewood, because of the fierce anger of Rezin and Aram and the son of Remaliah. Aram, Ephraim, and Remaliah's son have plotted your ruin, saying, Let us invade Judah. Let us tear it apart and divide it among ourselves, and make the son of Tabeel king over it. Yet this is what the sovereign Lord says. It will not take place, it will not happen. For the head of Aram is Damascus, and the head of Damascus is only Rezin. Within 65 years, Ephraim will be too shattered to be a people. The head of Ephraim is Samaria, and the head of Samaria is only Remaliah's son. If you do not stand firm in your faith, you will not stand at all. Again the Lord spoke to Ahaz. Ask the Lord your God for a sign, whether in the deepest depths or in the highest heights. But Ahaz said, I will not ask, I will not put the Lord to the test. Then Isaiah said, Hear now, you house of David. Is it not enough to try the patience of humans? Will you try the patience of my God also? Therefore, the Lord Himself will give you a sign. The virgin will conceive and give birth to a son, and will call him Emmanuel. He will be eating curds and honey when he knows enough to reject the wrong and choose the right. For before the boy knows enough to reject the wrong and choose the right, the land of the two kings you dread will be laid waste. The Lord will bring on you and on your people and on the house of your father a time unlike any since Ephraim broke away from Judah. He will bring the king of Assyria. In that day, the Lord will whistle for flies from the Nile delta in Egypt, and for bees from the land of Assyria. They will all come and settle in the steep ravines and in the crevices in the rocks, on all the thorn bushes and at all the water holes. In that day, the Lord will use a razor hired from beyond the Euphrates River, the king of Assyria, to shave your head in private parts, and to cut off your beard also. In that day, a person will keep alive a young cow in 2 coats. And because of the abundance of the milk they give, there will be curds to eat. All who remain in the land will eat curds and honey. In that day, in every place where there are 1,000 vines, worth 1,000 silver shekels, there will be only briars and thorns. Hunters will go there with bow and arrow, for the land will be covered with briars and thorns. As for all the hills once cultivated by the hoe, you will no longer go there for fear of the briars and thorns. They will become places where cattle are turned loose and where sheep run. Daily Bread Message. King Ahaz and all of Judah were terrified when they heard the news that Aram and Israel had made an alliance and were attacking them. But at this time the word of the Lord came to them. Do not be afraid, do not lose heart. In the Lord's sight, Aram and Israel were no more than 2 smoldering stubs of sticks. All Judah could see was the fierce anger and large armies of their enemies. This was nothing to the Lord. As to the invasion of Judah, the Lord promised, It will not happen, it will not take place. The Lord told Ahaz to ask for a sign, but he refused. He didn't ask because he didn't have faith in God. If we don't have faith in God, we will not stand at all. To the unbelieving, Ahaz, God in His mercy, promised 2 things. First, since Ahaz refused to ask for a sign, the Lord gave one Himself. The sign was Emmanuel, God with us. God will give Himself to His people when He sent His Son, Jesus, to be born of a virgin, and will be God with us. God also promised to send the Assyrian army in his time to destroy the enemies of Judah. Even though we don't deserve rescue by our God, he rescues us in Jesus. Prayer. Father, thank you so much for your Son. Thank you for sending Emmanuel, God with us, even though we don't deserve it. One word, Emmanuel, God with us.